We are live, we are live, we are live, we are live. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya nak jodoh Coach Rioi. Welcome. Saya nak bantu anda mendapat perkahwinan yang berkat bahagia menggunakan ta'aruf yang halal. Okay, so I think I need to clarify the some of the terms that I've used, which is jahil dating, halal dating, and ta'aruf halal method. So when I say jahil dating, I tak cakap you jahil, tak, bukan you jahiliah, tak. Okay, I'm saying jahil tu ignorant, as in tak tahu, yang dating secara berdoaan tu salah, kan? Kalau you tahu benda tu salah tapi you buat juga, itu jahat dating. Okay, itu jahat dating. Jahil dating ni, you tak tahu benda tu salah, you terbuat, lepas tu you terkecundang, lepas tu you heartbreak. So itu when I say jahil dating, you tak tahu, you tak sedar benda tu salah, you tak tahu benda tu ada bahaya dia, ada bahana dia, kan? You tak sure relationship tu nak ke mana, you tak tahu relationship tu nak ke mana, itu jahil, as in not knowing benda tu, relationship tu nak ke mana. So that is what I mean with jahil dating. Okay, you tak tahu tapi you terbuat silap and you patah hati, lepas tu you kena break up atau ditipu atau terkecundangkan atau terciduk. Okay, so I hope that's very clear. Very clear. Okay, so okay, thank you for you yang baru join tu. Okay, so I was just explaining apa beza jahil dating, halal dating dan ta'aruf method. So pertama, jahil dating tu bukan I cakap you jahil or jahiliah, tak. Okay, jahil dating tu maksud I adalah you were ignorant of the fact and the dangers of jahil dating, as in you were not aware that it was dangerous, you were not aware that it would break your heart, you were not aware that it has its problems. Okay, you just tak tahu. Kalau you tak tahu benda tu salah, you terbuat, that's one thing. Tapi kalau you tahu benda tu salah tapi you buat, itu jahat dating. Itu bukan jahil dating, itu dah jahat dah, kan? You tahu benda salah tapi buat juga, itu jahat. Okay, right. And I'm not saying you penjahat. That's why I'm trying to make it very clear here. I really don't want to mince words, and I want to be as clear as possible, insyaAllah. If you're still not clear, let me know. Okay, then apakah beza halal dating? Well, dalam Islam, there's no such thing as dating. Okay, no such thing as dating sebelum nikah. You lepas nikah, is dating haram? You dah nikah dengan suami you, dengan isteri you, dating lah sebanyak-banyak, seberonok-ronok lah suami isteri, sebanyak mana yang you nak. Okay, lepas nikah. Sebelum nikah, in Islam, there's no such thing as dating. Berdodaan atau menaruh perasaan sebelum nikah, there's no such thing of that in Islam. Okay, so when I say halal dating, I'm just trying to bring attention. Kalau I terus cakap, kan, oh, there's no such thing. Kalau I terus cakap, for example, ta'aruf, most people have never heard of this word, kan? Most people have never heard of the word ta'aruf. Okay, ta'aruf itu dalam Islam adalah untuk berkenalan. Arabinya, bahasa Arabik, ta'aruf tu berkenalan dengan it's a broad meaning. Berkenalan as in you nak berkenalan dengan business partner, you nak berkenalan dengan klien, you nak berkenalan dengan rakan-rakan sekerja ke office, you nak berkenalan dengan bakal calon nak kahwin you, calon jodoh you. Okay, so ta'aruf is just a broad meaning of berkenalan. So I'm using the word ta'aruf halal untuk dapat jodoh. This is usually the term I use untuk berkongsi ta'aruf yang halal adalah Islam. Kalau I cakap ta'aruf, most people understand. the thing about sharing this, it about sharing the truth, kalau tak sampai, message tu tak sampai, kan, message tu tak sampai, dakwah tu, the sharing the truth tu, kalau orang tak faham, tak guna. So why I use the word, sometimes I use the word halal dating, is to make people think, oh, dating tak halal ke, kan? And then make people think that dating halal, there's such a thing as halal dating, is there such a thing as non-halal dating? So why I use that word sometimes, halal dating, is to get people to think, and to people to think, to ponder, and to realize there is a big distinction of dating and halal ta'aruf. So it is, Kang, because I know some people commented to me before, in date, haram is haram, there's no such thing as dating in Islam. Betul, saya setuju. There's no such thing as dating in Islam sebelum nikah. Setuju sangat-sangat. Okay, so when I use the word halal dating, is I'm trying to give a very quick introduction and bagi people sedar and think that, there's halal dating? Is there such a thing? Trying to introduce people to the concept of ta'aruf untuk mencari jodoh dengan halal dalam Islam. Boleh. Are you with me? So these three words that I use usually: jahil dating, halal dating, and halal ta'aruf method. Okay, halal ta'aruf method. So I hope that's clear, insyaAllah, supaya kita tak confuse. And macam, I mean, what other words do people use in cari jodoh? Okay, jodoh is another thing. Jodoh itu is a very, very broad definition, kan? Jodoh itu rahsia Allah. Apakah lagi rahsia Allah? Rezeki, hidup, mati juga rahsia Allah, kan? Semua tu adalah jodoh juga, kan? Semua tu adalah rahsia jodoh tu, jodoh kahwin, jodoh duit, jodoh hidup mati, kan? Itu semua jodoh. Tapi dalam konteks Melayu, biasanya kita cakap perkataan jodoh tu maksudnya kahwin, kan? Soulmate dalam kefahaman Melayu kita. So I'm just using that word usually in the context of jodoh dalam bahasa Melayu, maksudnya dalam pemahaman adalah soulmate, atau pasangan yang secocok, pasangan yang sekufu. And sekufu is another thing I need to explain. Sekufu adalah compatibility. Okay, compatibility. It simply means kalau compatibility, Mak Saleh or German Englishnya compatibility, kan, sesuai, secocok, kan, macam pinang dibelah dua. Kalau belah, okay, it is sekufu is keserasian, compatibility, keserasian. Okay, tak semestinya sama. It could be opposite but they match. Okay, sekufu. Alright, so I hope to reduce that misunderstanding, insyaAllah. Okay, and okay, what are the terms that I use? Jahil dating, halal dating, ta'aruf halal method, and sekufu is compatibility. Okay, what if there are any other terms that I use that you need clarification? Type in the comments below. Kan? And sebab nak sampaikan pemahaman tu, we need things, direct translations usually doesn't work. So I need to come up with a word like halal dating. Semua orang pelik. When I started with halal speed dating dulu, halal speed dating, it is speed dating but halal. So ramai orang condemn lah, kan? But it did make people think. Oh, mana boleh halal speed dating, halal dating is two completely different things. Setuju, those are different. Halal and dating are not are the opposite values. Okay, because the word dating itself, the connotation of dating itself is macam how we understand macam the Hollywood-ish, or the Hollywood macam berjumpa, kenalan, get laid, and sleep around, then fall in love. lepas tu tak tahu nak kahwin ke tak kahwin, things that you watch in one movie is he's just not into you, kan? And then so it implies towards zina. Dating is the word that implies towards zina. So understand that. Aku tak tahu. And we've consulted with ulama-ulama, and in fact in the newspaper it came out, Mufti Kelantan ke Terengganu, Mufti Terengganu, journalist asked the Mufti, Yang Berhormat, to comment, boleh tak halal speed dating ni betul ke, kan? Then Mufti explain that kalau if it's conducted dengan cara yang disyariatkan, tidak berdua-duaan, sebaik-baiknya ada wali, tak salah, kan? Hanya penjelasan maksud halal speed dating tu yang perlu diperjelaskan lagi, kan? Tapi setakat ni dari yang dia tahu adalah benda ni dijalankan dengan hormat, ya, dengan menjaga kehormatan dan martabat lelaki dan wanita. Tiada dating-dating berdua-duaan atau sebagainya lah, kan. So nama je dating, sebab nanti cakap ta'aruf, orang tak faham. Halal speed ta'aruf. Apa yang ni? Yang ni I don't understand yang ni. Okay? So those just hope to clarify this terminologies, and hope to clarify any misconception or misunderstanding. If you still don't understand, please WhatsApp me. My number is right down here. And if you can type in the comments below, any other words or concepts yang saya share ni tak clear, please let me know. Sebab nak faham, nak you faham ilmu dari Quran dan Sunnah, okay, supaya boleh buat tindakan yang berasaskan Quran dan Sunnah, supaya you menjadi pengantin dan dapat perkahwinan berasaskan Quran dan Sunnah. So that is the flow of logic. Ilmu, tindakan, result. Ilmu, tindakan, result. Ilmu, Quran, Sunnah, tindakan Quran dan Sunnah, result Quran dan Sunnah. Perkahwinan yang bahagia berasaskan Quran dan Sunnah. I nak jadi pengantin berasaskan Quran. I nak you jadi perkahwinan yang berasaskan Quran dan Sunnah. Okay, boleh? Okay, so kalau you setuju, sila dengar. Kalau tak setuju Quran dan Sunnah, harap you dengar dan dapat hidayah, insyaAllah. Okay, so I believe most people are listening. Okay, however, I got a rather weird feedback the other night, whereby one of the sisters that I'm coaching, she invited her friend, seorang Muslimah juga, untuk dengarlah coach ni cakap apa, macam mana nak cari jodoh secara Islamik. Lepas tu her friend responded with, aku tak kisah cara apa aku dapat jodoh asalkan no sex. So no sex, betul, asalkan no sex. But tak kisah cara apa dapat jodoh asalkan no sex. No sex tu betul, setuju. Tak kisah cara apa. Kalau tak buat cara yang disyariatkan, saya risau perkahwinan tu tak diberkatkan. Saya risau proses dan cara dapat perkahwinan tu tak berkat. Because kalau kita nak perkahwinan tu bermula dengan keberkatan, dan perkahwinan tu juga berkat, kan? Dan insyaAllah mendapat anak-anak yang soleh dan solehah. So it starts from now. It doesn't start from you sending your kids to sekolah agama, baru anak-anak jadi soleh dan solehah. Tak. Like I usually mention, pesanan Nabi adalah bila nak berkahwin, amanah, fikir pasal amanah kita dengan anak-anak kita. Anak-anak kita, our unborn children, has already given us an amanah. That untuk mencari pasangan yang baik. Untuk menjadi pasangan yang baik. Okay? Amanah daripada anak-anak kita yang belum lahir ni adalah untuk mencari pasangan yang baik. So, I nak share macam mana nak share pasangan yang baik. Nak cari pasangan yang baik dengan berkat. Okay? Alright. So, Man of virtue is for a woman of virtue. A woman of virtue is for a man of virtue. So saya risau kalau macam that lady tadi cakap, tak kisah cara apa pun asalkan no sex. Sex, yes, it's important to avoid sex before nikah, but there are other things also, kan. Sex is zina. And kita dinasihat bukan untuk mengelakkan zina, bukan berbuat zina. Kita jangan dekati zina pun tak boleh. Kan, berduaan, sexting, phone sex, or flirting, or these things, so many things we can list down. So, okay, boleh? Okay, all right. So, is there a question? All right. So, I'm going to unmute people on Telegram. If you want to say something, you can say something live right now. It's on speaker. But if you're shy, we can discuss it after. We go off air. Okay. So I know I don't get so much engagement on social media. I know why. Sebab you're shy. I completely understand. That's why I created the Telegram group. We can discuss after we go off air. All right. So if you're shy, go to Telegram. Username is Nak Jodoh. All right. So, okay. Username Nak Jodoh. Go to Telegram. Boleh. Okay. So I'm muted in case you want to say something. Someone on Telegram, or we can discuss after we go off air at 10 o'clock. All right. Cool. So itu mukadimah. Right. Sebenarnya saya pun terkejut juga kan. I mean, my friend tu pun the terkejut juga, di mana kawan dia yang seorang muslimah cakap tak kisah cara apa pun asal dapat jodoh, asalkan no sex. Well, there are other things. Untuk membuat secara berkat, which we need to know, kan. Macam mana nak pilih berasaskan calon yang baik, berasaskan Quran dan Sunnah, mengikut nasihat Rasulullah SAW, kan. Apakah minimum kriteria seorang pasangan dalam mencari jodoh? Okay, sekurang-kurangnya ada akhlak, ada agama. Just because there's no sex doesn't mean there is a quality match. Doesn't mean that is someone who shares the vision and the values yang Allah sukai, kan. It's not enough. So just from that sentence lah, within that context, dia cakap asalkan no sex, I would say that's very low standard. Very, very low standard. So Islam has very high standards untuk wanita dan untuk lelaki. Islam has very high standards based on values untuk kebaikan kita semua, kan. So just no sex is it's very low standards, like just no sex. So what if calon tu dia we've shared so many crazy stories before, kan. Dating berlama-lama and then ta'aruf bertahun-tahun. Those are trouble, and especially I would say in a way it's low standard type of ta'aruf. Okay, we set a standard. Islam has given us a set of standards and to follow. Okay, and I'm sharing from my experience as a matchmaker, helping people untuk dapat jodoh dengan berkat, bahagia insyaAllah. Dan from my own mistakes dulu, I pun juga dulu jahil dating. I know, I've been through that. For umpteen years. And finally, my friend told me, have you heard of ta'aruf? Like, no. Apa bid'ah yang kau cakap ni, kan? Aku tak tahu. And, okay, so I thought it was that. But then he enlightened me and I learned what is ta'aruf, and then I changed my ways, and then bada bing, bada boom. In 6 months, I met my wife and got married to her in 5 months. So, halal ta'aruf method is fast, efficient, without heartbreak. It's how yang disyariatkan. That's what I'm trying to share. How I did it. It's my own personal experience. It is how I help my clients untuk cari jodoh, Okay, I've had clients yang kahwin within 7 weeks, ada yang average setahun lah. I berani cakap setahun. 7 weeks to an extreme example, kisah benar, and I say that is rather extreme. Okay, boleh. Alright, so I harap to quickly clarify that, insyaAllah. And any other misconception? Because I was a bit concerned that the some Muslimah punya standards are really low. Of macam like that comment lah, dia cakap tak kisah cara apa asalkan no sex. Well, yeah, but it's a very low standard of selecting a spouse, and it's a very low standard. It reflects upon one's own self-esteem and confidence of, because standard dia low, it indicates a low standard. And ramai-ramai boleh anything goes, or ramai-ramai anything can go lah kan. So macam for example, one of my example that I usually give is comments that I usually get is macam, betul ke? Soalannya since that issue kan, betul ke kalau perempuan bijak ni kena buat bodoh-bodoh? Lelaki tak suka perempuan yang bijak. Yes and no. Yes and no, sebab apa? Lelaki, boys tak suka perempuan yang bijak. Men yang high value suka perempuan bijak. So you are deterring things that are not good for you, and you're attracting things that are good for you. Okay, so don't lower yourself, don't lower your standards, maintain your standards. If not, increase your standards. Okay, boleh? So because I know most of my listeners are usually very highly educated, and you're concerned that you have to lower your standards, you have to macam tunjuk bodoh. No. That video was taken out of context, I believe. Okay, so the answer is yes and no. Yes and no, sebab laki yang tak nak kat you tu, those are boys yang takut wanita yang bijak. Okay, you don't want them anyway. You don't want them anyway. Okay, setuju? You want lelaki, a man that's intelligent and can appreciate your intelligence. Boleh? Setuju? Setuju? Type setuju? Boleh type setuju. Thank you. Tak setuju. Alright. And be grateful. Be grateful. Allah jauhkan lelaki yang tak baik dari you. Kan? Allah jauhkan lelaki yang not good enough for you. Okay? You're better than those men. And Allah bagi peluang kat you untuk lelaki yang baik masuk line. Sorry for putting it so crudely, but that's how I can easily explain it. Lelaki yang baik masuk line, lelaki yang tak baik tak berani masuk line. Okay, boleh. Alright. So alright. And alright, panjangnya muka dia mah. Clarification is needed. I just needed to clarify that, because saya pun macam sedih. Some Muslimah standards are very low. Nanti perkahwinan tu tak bahagia, nanti dia cakap, kenapa Allah buat aku macam ni, lepas tu blame Tuhan, kan? Yeah, because your standards were low. You let that happen. You let crappy men into your life because your standards are low. Why your standards are low? You don't think too highly of yourself. You don't think highly enough of yourself. Yeah, you don't know your worth, and you don't show your worth. You need to know your worth, and then you let people of worth to be with you. If you don't know how to show your worth, then worthless men will come into your life. Okay, because you are worth it. Maybe it's not just a line from a makeup company, but martabat wanita sangat tinggi. So you need to maintain your standards. Jaga standard you dan martabat sebagai seorang wanita. Okay? Boleh. Okay. Okay. This is not the main topic of tonight, but I feel terseru dan tersedih because of the self-perception of women accepting worthless men into their life because having low standards, and then they get crappy marriage, and then blame Tuhan. Jangan blame Tuhan. Okay? Alright. So, thank you for joining. Alright, sound check. Usually kalau sound tak betul, ramai dah komen. So, sound okay? Saya continue insyaAllah. Okay, so past few nights, now kita masuk topik. Tadi bukan Dimah je. Wah, mak oi. Alright, so because, okay dah, I already explained dah. Let's get into the topic. Bismillah. So we've shared topik-topik seperti perkara-perkara yang women with low standards accept in men in their life. Why low standards that they have in their life is because sometimes it's the guy. Memang that guy is low value or worthless. Okay, that's exaggeration. That guy too is not good for you. Okay, it's a bad boy or bad for you. But sometimes there are things about ourselves that let that person into our life. And sometimes it's things about us that we attract low standard men or women into our life because we set such a low bar, low standard. Like macam, tak apalah asaskan tak ada seks. Kan? So the low standards. Because you set low standards. That's a problem. And most women worry, if I set high standards, nanti tak ada siapa nak kat aku macam mana. Kan? Well, have you tried to set a high standard? Have you tried to set a higher standard? Standard bukan standard yang Allah suka lah. Standard yang berakhlak, beragama, beriman. Those are minimum standards. You nak additional stuff like handsome, kaya, berjaya, bagus, but prioritize akhlak dan agama. Okay? Those are minimum entry level to talk to you. Yang you layan. Alright? If you layan tak ada agama or tak ada akhlak, then that's a problem. Betul tak? Okay. Alright. So, what are the things yang menarik low standard men to your life is possibly your low standard expectation. Alright. What give you low standard expectation? Things like you have fantastical thinking, angangan mak jenin, you want a prince to come into your life, that is fantasy. And you mengelakkan intimacy, or mungkin you drama queen or drama king. When I say you, tak semestinya you, someone you know, your sister, your brother, your kakak bawang kat di office tu kan, not you, okay? But occasionally you might see this person in the mirror once in a while, maybe, okay? Or you still stuck in the past, masih lagi simpan barang-barang X. Yesterday I gave homework, I hope you've done it. Homework tu adalah to get rid of the junk from your exes, surat lama, surat cinta, can get rid of it. Defensive, you're very defensive, you tak nak mengaku you've made mistakes. And action dengan Tuhan, action dengan diri sendiri, action dengan your friends trying to bagi nasihat. Very defensive bila orang nak bantu. And usually bila kita tengah down, nasihat baik kita susah nak terima, betul kan? So how to nak terima nasihat yang baik? Kita doa minta Allah lembutkan hati kita. Sebab pemilik hati kita adalah Allah. Kita ni diamanahkan untuk jaga hati je. Our heart, our emotions, our heart, kita ni, hati kita, it doesn't belong to us, tapi amanah kita untuk jaga. Okay, so kalau kita pecah hati, hancur hati sebab we let a crappy person into our life, into our heart, and hati kita dihancur-hancurkan, dimurtabakkan, daging hancur, tak ada murtabak kan, mati kita hancur kan. So tu dah pecah amanah lah. Allah dah bagi hati untuk kita jaga. Tujuan Allah kita bagi hati adalah untuk kita to grow towards Allah. So kita tanya pemilik hati ni, which is Allah, untuk lembutkan hati ni, supaya kita boleh terima nasihat yang baik, ilmu yang baik, supaya kita dapat buat tindakan yang baik untuk mendapat result yang baik, yakni perkahwinan yang berkat bahagia, dan untuk mendapat keredaan Allah, untuk kejannah Allah. Okay, it starts with macam mana kita jaga hati kita. Kita minta dengan Allah untuk lembutkan hati, untuk dapat nasihat yang baik. And always be careful what sort of advice you get. Okay, I mean, it's very important. A lot of people mean well, but they are horrible at giving advice, or give horrible advice. Kan? Horrible advice. You should probably seen movies. Or I have to say this, macam Matthew Hussey. Yeah, it's okay. You exercise your options. Sleep around. His advice, you should exercise your options and sleep around as much as you need to figure out what you want. It's like the zina tu. So that is against our values. So be careful who you listen and get your advice from. Okay. Okay. So malam ini kita nak go specific to cover a few more subtopics of maybe it's you, kan? Maybe it's your low standards that has made your past relationship crap and made you feel crappy until now. And this message is for women yang in a relationship that's crappy. Dia tak nak masuk Minang, dia masih memainkan you rasa macam tipah tertipu. And this message is also for women yang pernah kecundang because you don't realize your worth, you accept worthless men in your life, dan supaya you don't repeat the mistake. And this message is for maybe someone you know who is going through this, and for insyaAllah you can boleh bagi nasihat yang baik. Okay? Right. So kalau dia dapat kahwin, you pun dapat pahala insyaAllah. Right. Kalau you dapat kahwin, lagi banyak pahala you insyaAllah. Alright. So I kongsi dengan you, ada dapat pahala insyaAllah. Alright. So susah happily single. Single and happy is very difficult. Why it's difficult? You think it's difficult to be single and happy is difficult, susah. It's a myth. There's no such thing, kan? Especially when you're younger dulu. But as you get older, it does get a bit easier, doesn't it? You're more self-confident and you don't need another person to validate you. You have yourself and you have Allah. Orang yang ada Allah doesn't feel lonely. Betul. Wallahi. Someone who has Allah in their heart, hatinya penuh dengan sayang dengan Allah, does not feel lonely. Reminds me of my ustazah dulu masa I kecil. She's never married, and she told me that she's not married, but her relationship sayang daripada Allah tu made her feel content and happy. Not contempt. Content and happy. Dia bahagia walaupun dia tak ada keluarga, dia tak ada spouse, kan? And for me, I was 10 years old. I could not digest it. I didn't understand. Now, as I grow up and faham bond kita dengan Allah tu, now I understand, kan? Lepas faham ada ilmu ni. Okay. Okay. So it's hard for you. So now getting to the crux of the topic, susah nak to be happily single is you have trouble being alone. You're having trouble being alone. Why? Because you're thinking in the line of thinking di mana somebody is better than nobody, kan? Somebody is better than nobody. Kalau orang tu nak ke tak nak kat you pun tak sure, tengah dating you bertahun tapi tak masuk Minang, tak nak jumpa parents you, well, still better than nobody. Somebody is better than nobody. Dan takut nanti kalau break, kalau you minta break, takut orang lain tak nak kat you. Being physically alone readily creates the feeling of loneliness for you. You feel this way. And the feeling of loneliness is dreadful because you're afraid of being alone. And The fear of loneliness is guarantee. The fear of loneliness is guarantee. Is a guarantee. Let me put this succinctly. The fear of loneliness guarantees that you will tolerate bad behavior in romantic partners. You will tolerate any crappy person in your life because you're afraid to be alone. Guaranteed. Surefire lah. Guarantee. Worthless people in your life, you're stuck in that relationship because you're afraid to be alone. You're afraid to try the ta'aruf halal method. You're afraid to uh, leave this guy because he seems nice. He seems nice. He buys me flowers, but he doesn't want to get married. Can so and you're afraid to break up. Takut no one else will treat you, buy you flowers. Contoh, okay. So as long as you have this warm body or zombie in your life, or someone yang tak sure nak ke tak nak kat you, you don't feel lonely. You don't feel macam shameful yang orang tak nak kat you. Walaupun you are dreading nak kahwin, you waiting for him to kahwin dengan you, kan? But you tolerate his bad behavior, you tolerate his janji-janji manis. Nantilah nak kumpul duit dulu, kan? Nak kumpul duit dulu. Dah 3 tahun kumpul duit. How much kumpul duit? Negotiate, plan, how much, kan? Discuss, tapi dia tak ada discuss. Dia mengelat dan lihat. Okay. Okay, so I'll give you signs that you have trouble being alone. And that stops you from being happily single. And several videos ago, I've shared on how to be happily single. So the how to be happily single, I dah share a few videos ago. So tonight we go deeper on signs that you have trouble being alone. Okay, yang pertama, you rasa single tu is pathetic or horrible. Single, rasa macam orang tak nak kat you, kan? Even though that relationship is horrible, but you tak nak, you still continue that relationship. So you tak berani nak break up with that guy even though he's treating you horribly, because you lagi takut being single because it's pathetic and horrible. Nanti kawan you fikir you apa, you tak boleh tarik lelaki, kan? You fikir macam tu. And guys feel this way also, kan? Just to fill up the time until someone better comes along, he'll dump you. Someone better. It happens. I explained that a few videos ago. Okay, and okay, all right. So that's one. You equate being single is being pathetic or horrible. All right. So katakan you break up. Either he breaks up with you or you break up with him because you basically dah tak terlarat nak layan behavior dia. You quickly feel depressed when alone. Okay, so you feel depressed when alone. Alone gives you depression. Okay, very quickly I have to cover. Depression must be clinically diagnosed. It is an emotion and physical symptom. It has emotional and physical symptom, and it has been clinically diagnosed. Go to an expert on depression. You cannot diagnose yourself. Oh, aku depressed lah. No, you cannot. Bahaya. Okay, it's like, oh, aku ada cancer. Like, what do you mean? Taklah, ni kan orang cakap cancer kan? Yep, technically, but is it detrimental? No, kan? You don't diagnose yourself, please. And depression is a real issue. It needs to be diagnosed. You cannot diagnose yourself. All right, see an expert on depression. Okay, kadang One of my pet peeves bengang juga cakap, aku ni depressed lah. Oh, so did you, who diagnosed you? When were you diagnosed? What, prognosis did you get? It's like, tak ada, aku rasa aku ni depressed. Kenapa? Sebab banyak kerja ke office. There's a big difference between depression and overwhelmed with work. Okay, big difference. If you can put the right label on it, you can manage it the right way. You can solve it the right way. So, doing quickly, tell yourself, aku ni depressed. All right. So, I digress, but I have to make this very clear. Very clear. All right. Alright, so that was nombor yang kedua tu adalah you quickly feel depressed when you're alone. Alright, yang ketiga, you have a lot of discomfort doing things by yourself. You feel so uncomfortable going shopping by yourself or having coffee by yourself, at a cafe, read a book by yourself, and maybe you could test yourself, Ken. Maybe you could test yourself, see how comfortable you are going to a cafe, read a book, and just macam enjoy time with yourself. Enjoy time with your own thoughts. Some people cannot do this. Yeah? Some people cannot do this. They just cannot. Dia takut macam, nanti orang tengok aku duduk sini sorang-sorang patheticnya, kan. Orang ingat aku ni tak ada orang nak teman aku, kan. Maybe you can test yourself. Okay. For me, occasionally I like to go. It's like, go to cafe, bring a book. Zaman pre-COVID dulu, just bring a book. Just bring a book, and then just sit there and just read. Sometimes I meet interesting people when I sit there alone. Tiba-tiba meja cafe tu dah penuh, and then it's like, okay, tak apa, please join me. I'll just be quiet. You be quiet on your side of the table. I just continue reading. Occasionally say, hey, so what do you do? Macam, oh, I'm a matchmaker. Really? That's interesting. Oh, I have a lot of single friends. Yeah, I bet you do. So yeah, here's my card. Okay, so sometimes I like to get into conversations. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I really macam, no, I just want to finish my book. I'll be quiet over my side of the table. You be quiet over your side of the table. Okay? Tak kisah lelaki perempuan. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to anyone. I want to be alone with my thoughts. Yeah. I like my thoughts. I want to organize my thoughts. That's why I want to be alone. That's just me. But try it. It's fun. For me lah, I'm comfortable with being alone and being with my thoughts. I take that time to organize my thinking. Yeah, that's me. Anyways, back to ni. Yang keempat, signs that you have trouble being alone, is being alone triggers you anxiety and fear. Being alone triggers anxiety and fear. Okay, beza depression is you're stuck in the past. Just to oversimplify. Beza depression is you're stuck in the past. Anxiety, you're fearful of the future. You're fearful of the uncertain future, that uncertainty lah of the future. Excuse me. Okay, and macam siapa nak kat aku, kan? Aku ni tak mencukupi lah. Aku ni tak cukup ni, tak cukup tu. Siapa nak kat aku? Well, short answer, yeah, the right answer, the best answer is penuhkan hati dengan hubungan dengan Allah. Paling senang. Or Mak Saleh, some ideology might say, hey, chill, just go have fun, go travel. And I see a lot of single ladies like going to travel with your BFF. Okay, but that does not necessarily, that helps, but it's a bandage. It's a distraction. The true solution is your connection with Allah. Okay, so being alone. So that was number 4. Being alone triggers anxiety and fear. And you dah break up, or you're suddenly single, or some anxiety and fears are valid. you do have anxiety disorder. So see an expert on that if you actually think you have an anxiety disorder. Okay. Okay. Alright. So yang kelima ni sangat penting. You go to great length not to lose a relationship. Kan? Mamat tu nak break up dengan you. Dia cakap, I nak kahwin orang lain. I tak nak kahwin dengan you. Tak nak. I nak you kahwin dengan you juga. Kan? Contoh. Alright. You memang takut nak single and takut nak kehilangan seseorang. Anyone. Dia cakap dia tak nak kat you pun, dia cakap dia nak kahwin orang lain pun, you still, asalkan you tak single, you go to great length of needy desperation to stay in a relationship, any relationship. Okay. And this is dangerous. It makes you very willing to do and tolerate a lot of crappy things from another person. When you are needy and desperate, someone will take advantage of you. I just said it out loud. Betul. When you needy and desperate, someone will take advantage of you. Betul. You can't take advantage of someone who's confident and know and have plans. It's hard to take advantage of someone who is, who's clear on what they want to have and they're where they stand. So if you have no stand and desperate in a relationship, you're gonna get taken advantage of. And I don't want you to get taken advantage of. That's why I don't share benda ni malam-malam. Okay? Alright. So, next sign of you fear being alone is, you have trouble being alone, is you worry a lot about what other people will think of you. You takut nanti macam, nanti makcik bawang tu tanya, bila nak kahwin? Kau tak ada boyfriend ke? Tiba keluar suara Doraemon for some reason. Okay, so makcik bawang cakap, bila kau nak kahwin? Kau tak ada boyfriend ke? Tak ada boyfriend lagi. Kau tu dah berumur. Kan? Ada ngok-ngek dia. Maybe they mean well, maybe not. So, but it's definitely the wrong approach to talk to a single person. And sindir-sindir, they can explode, orang single-single yang if disindir, they just can't take it anymore. Some sort of anxiety that happens. It's a combination. Anxiety and then anxiety of being alone and also kena sindir, that could explode. That could explode. Okay, so you afraid of what other people think of you. Takut nanti makcik bawang cakap, kau dah berumur, kau dah 3 series, kau bila kau nak kahwin, mana-mana, you takut, kan? And you still willing to stay with a boyfriend or relationship yang masih, that's horrible for you, yang tak nak masuk minang dengan you, kan? Dah berkenalan 2 tahun and tak ada haluan, kan? Kawan tak ada haluan, bahaya. It's going to break your heart eventually, kan? Sebab dia tak serious, he won't commit. I got a request that someone wants me to share why men won't commit. Okay, nanti we cover these few topics first and then we'll discuss that on another night, inshallah. Okay, so you worry about what others think of you. And on the slightly opposite end of the spectrum, this sister, dia cakap, tak apa, mak dia cakap, this sister, mak dia cakap, tak kisahlah siapa-siapa, kau kahwin je lah, you kahwin je. Mak dia macam, asalkan kau kahwin, tak kisahlah siapa pun. Bahaya juga nasihat mak ni. Dia niat baik, dia takut mak ni, dia takut anak dia kahwin lambat, kan? Tapi mak dia tak tahu nak bantu or jaga filter and cari calon yang sesuai untuk anak dia. So siapa-siapa je lah yang asalkan kahwin, kan? So bahaya tu, kan? Kan tiba-tiba tak filter mamat ni, suami orang. Kan tak filter mamat ni, it happen. Sebab mak bapak dia niat baik nak bantu anak dia, kan? And introduce anak dia dengan suami orang. Anak dia tak nak lah suami orang, kan. Tapi this guy pun tak mengaku dan tak bagi tahu dia suami orang. So that's why you need to know your standards. You need to know how to communicate with your parents what you want, and you also need to know what you want. Okay, so back to the list of signs that you have trouble being alone adalah you worry a lot about what others think of you. And I think the one of the books I think you should read is called The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. Okay, Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. Besides the title of that thing, that book is actually about values. I think you should read it. I suggest. Okay, title dia memang sangat menarik, but it's actually a good book about values. Okay, makes you think. It will make you think that you should know who you are, where your stance is, and it's a good book. It's a good book. Read it. Okay. Okay. So next point adalah is since you have trouble being alone, is you tend to mistrust others. You susah nak percaya orang baru, especially orang baru. And orang lama pun the relationship you're in pun you tak percaya dia nak masuk Minang, tapi orang baru lagi lah you tak percaya, kan. So you have trouble being alone. Okay. Sometimes you don't even trust yourself. You question yourself too much, mistrust others and mistrust yourself because you are making bad decisions and you feel crappy about it. So how can you trust yourself to make right decisions? So you mistrust others and you mistrust yourself because you're feeling this crappy result of horrible decisions. So what I'm sharing with you every night is for you to equip you on how to make decisions, helping you to decide what's good for you. Okay, I don't tell you what to decide on. I'm not going to tell you, oh, this guy is good for you, or this guy is bad for you. No, I'm not going to put a list in front of you. It's like, oh, ni jahat, ni baik. No, it's not my call. I can share with you some decision-making tools and information so you make that decision. You istisharah dan you istiqarah, right? All right. So, wow, there's so much more I want to share. Okay. I'll quickly cover this quickly. Yeah. So, I'm the next subtopic of this is you believe your love will fix him. So this is, I think we'll cover this tomorrow night. We go so much deeper. Happens because you rasa, especially with bad boys or people bad for you, kan? You rasa that cinta you cukup untuk fix dia, and that's why you're in this relationship. And usually this guy is a married man, and then he says his wife doesn't love him, and he's troubled, or is a regular single guy, and you rasa that this guy is going through something lah. Okay, maybe something valid like loss of a family member, or something not valid. He's just being an a-hole all his life, or something not valid also. This ni sentiasa ada je masalah, and you believe that your love will fix him. And usually this is the fantastical thinking of good women with wrong expectations on trying to fix bad boys. And this is low standard punya thinking. Okay, your love cannot fix a troubled man. No, he can fix himself if he wants to. Your love can fix yourself. You need to fix yourself first, right? Don't fix other people, but you cannot fix yourself. Bahaya, kan? And like I usually share, the list of things. Who should you love first? First is Allah. Second, Rasulullah SAW. And then third, your mother. Fourth, your mother. Fifth, your mother. Sixth, your father. Seventh, yourself. eighth than a possible spouse. Okay, your spouse. So if you tak jaga the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then it's hard for you to expect to have a proper love of another human being. Kan, you'll be accepting very low standards lah, your acceptance. You will tolerate any crappy things because you tak sayang diri, sebab you tak nak dengar pesanan Rasulullah, sebab you tak worry about benda yang Allah suka dan tak suka. So you tak jaga yourself, your self love, very important. Okay, and a lot of us are too fixated, terlampau fokus, taksub kepada cinta seorang lelaki dan cinta seorang wanita. Kan, that is later. They want later. You need to love Allah first, and then Rasul, your parents, then yourself. Lah, jantan, perempuan, later. Alright, you take care of yourself first. Itu paling penting. Love yourself. But and unfortunately, a lot of people find this very hard to love yourself, and because it's something you've never done or never really worked on. And of course, if it's something you've never done before, of course it's hard. But start small. Start by, istighfar. Start by learning the Asma'ul Husna. Understand the meaning of Asma'ul Husna. Learn the beauty and the power of Allah. Again, Allah's love. Allah loves you. Tapi you tak sedar that Allah loves you. Allah gave you so much. You tak sedar and be grateful. The first lesson, usually, the first lesson, I'm drafting my book. Lesson number 1, syukur. Syukur dengan Allah. That's lesson number 1. I tak cakap, macam mana nak ngorat lelaki. In fact, I don't teach that pun. Okay, lesson number 1, syukur dengan Allah. Hubungan dengan Allah terpenting. Okay, syukur first. Syukur. Alright. Okay, so I think I'll go into the you believe your love will fix him tomorrow, and Mandom another night. I'll try to finish it tomorrow night, and then emotional gambling addiction. You gamble with your emotions. Okay, so thank you very much for joining. And homework semalam, kalau you tak buat, tolong buat. Okay, kita sambung lagi malam esok. Ini homework you adalah, if you kalau belum buat lagi, you buat. You carilah barang-barang dalam rumah you, kan. Mungkin barang ex you, or surat cinta lama, or teddy bear yang ex you bagi tu. Mungkin ada saka, bukan saka, that's the wrong word. Mungkin ada, meaning that is horrible to you. Get rid of it. Alright. Tapi teddy bear ni comel. Yeah, but what meaning does it have? It's from your ex-boyfriend. Yep. And what does it mean to you? Like that he still loves me. Get rid of it. Mamat pun mungkin dah kahwin lah, kan? Dah kahwin orang lain. That someone could love me. Someone already loves you. Allah. Jangan lupa tu. Better you tidur peluk Quran than you peluk teddy bear. Alright? Okay. Setuju. Better peluk Quran than you peluk teddy bear. Can always keep it near. If you tutup mata pun, you can reach it. Keep it next to you. Kan? Just tutup mata, you can reach it. Especially when you're working from home. Letaklah satu kat atas kabinet kitchen, satu right in front of you, your computer, right by your bedside. Okay? Allah loves you the most, and your Quran is your best friend. How you communicate with Allah. Okay? Allah communicates with you. Yeah. And Allah is always closer to you than you think. Closer to you than your jugular veins. And you dari dalam ni lagi dekat pada your jugular veins. Jugular dekat sini, urat kat tengkuk ni. Yeah. This is your lifeline, kan, to the brain. So closer to you than that. What is closer to you than this? Tu tak. Alright. So thank you very much for joining. Hi, hi. Hello, Medan Indonesia. Hello, Brunei. Hello. Oh, yay, cool. All right, so tomorrow night kita continue. You falsely believe that your love will fix him. This is one of the things yang will, you know, you screwing yourself with. You believe your love will fix another person. Yeah, we'll go into detail tomorrow night, insyaAllah. And that is your homework. Cari dalam rumah, benda tu mungkin ada. Sucker is the wrong word. I'm using this word sucker loosely, okay? Kalau dia ada bagi barang apa-apa ke, surat cinta lama, teddy bear, blah, 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 get rid of it. Get rid of it. Let go. Let it go. Because you want to move on to perkahwinan yang berkat bahagia. You want that. You don't want to be stuck in the past. Okay? Boleh? Boleh? InsyaAllah. Buat homework ni. This is your homework. You nak hantar ke I video you bakar teddy bear tu, up to you lah. But, you know, beware of fire hazard. Okay? Kang rumah terbakar kan cakap, oh, tukang cari jodoh suruh bakar rumah. No. Tak. Throw it out. Okay? Alright. So, kalau surat cinta tu, you can flush it down. Okay? Boleh? Alright. InsyaAllah. So, thank you very much for joining. Thank you kerana giving me the opportunity untuk dapat pahala dengan share ilmu cari jodoh dengan halal ni, ta'aruf halal method. Boleh. So sebab ramai tak tahu. And I was told earlier this year I berdosa sebab I ada ilmu ni dan I tak kongsi. So selagi I tak kongsi ilmu ni, pengalaman I sebagai tukang cari jodoh, selagi tu I berdosa. So, I'm doing my best untuk tak nak berdosa, untuk share ilmu ni dengan you. Okay? Boleh? Alright. Biasanya adat kita sebelum berpisah, sebelum saya undur diri, ini kita baca doa. Bismillah. Kita tadah tangan, berdoa, aminkan sama sendiri. Lepas ni type amin and say amin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya Allah, aku minta pasangan yang menjadi menantu yang baik pada ibu bapaku, yang disayangimu untuk mendapat keredhaanmu, berganding bahu bersama ke jannahmu ya Allah. Amin. Okay, so siapa-siapa yang shy, kita sambung discussion ni kat Telegram. I am unmuting you. Kita boleh discuss. Alright? So, kita jumpa kat Telegram. I'm going offline now. Baik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye. Thank you for joining Instagram, Telegram, and everyone. No, Telegram. I'll see you on Telegram. Okay, bye. Going off air. Ta-ta. Titi-tutu. Ending broadcast.